All right, we're back at it this morning, taking a look here at the Nasdaq 100 futures, and we're gonna look at the higher. Well, I'm gonna look at the 120 range chart for all those that have been following the channel. Know that I trade supply and demand. To me, I'm taking a bearish outlook or take on the market right now, and this is my 60 range chart. I believe there's a supply zone resting right here, and it could come back and tap that area. It's untested, fresh zone there. If we look at the higher base chart right now, and I mentioned this yesterday, we broke structure to the downside. Okay, we pulled back here. We broke back down, structure back down to the downside again. We pulled back and we broke lower here, slightly, right here, as you can see, below this area here at 789. Okay, 17,007. Let's just say 790. All right there. So that's a slight structural break to the downside, but it's still broke. And right now, to me, we are in this channel to the downside for everyone that may possibly have a what am I looking for? Channel to the downside right here. All right. Let me move over back to my 60 range chart because I'm looking at this area right here. I'm not saying it's going to 100% project it, but I am looking at this area maybe for a slight short scalp to the downside. But yeah, we are moving down to the downside in a channel as we're making low, lower, high, low, lower, high. Okay, we haven't broke this high or this high up here. So, and we broke structure right here to the downside. So right now we are, to me, I have a bearish outlook, especially looking at my higher base chart because we broke structure below into yesterday's trading session. Okay, and we haven't taken out any major or any structural area back to the upside, especially this high resting up here around 950, 17,950. So as it stands, yeah, we're kind of moving sideways right now. We haven't broke this low right here yet. If we do break this low here resting at 17,790, then we're still bearish. Okay, but right now we're still bearish. I can see the channel that we're in on the higher base chart. So we're pulling back to this area here, and I'm going to wait to see what happens, possibly to take a short entry if we can get back here. Again, this is trading supply and demand. This is a fresh area of supply, and I would be interested in possibly taking it back down to the downside if or for a scalp if we can get rejection at this zone. Okay, I'm looking over here at my 12 range, and we're tapping to that higher, that 60 range supply zone that I mentioned right here. So far, no closure into it, kind of wicking away from it. So I may be aggressive on this trade. I'm not sure yet, but okay. So yeah, I'm going short on this trade right here. So I'm looking for some rejection, possibly in this area. We are kind of closing. No, we're not closing, but we're kind of moving into this inside the zone now. So I'm going to be very, very careful about the trade that I do take here. I don't want to jump into it too aggressive if I get into an entry going possibly short, but I'm just going to wait it out to see what happens here. All right, so I'm going to definitely hold down now because we are breaking above this area here. So this zone is invalid as it stands right now. So we could possibly be break back up to the upside, but overall, I'm just looking at this channel right here to the downside as well as we have broke structure to the downside. So, all right, I'm still have a bearish outlook right now. We are kind of moving sideways. So I'm just going to stand down right now until the market kind of gives me a clearer picture as far as what it's actually trying to do. All right, so I'm looking to see what's going to take place. I'm not sure if this thing's going to continue pushing higher or lower, but I'm interested in possibly taking a short. I'm on my 12 range chart right now, and let's see if the market will break. Give me a break of a candle here to the downside. I'm not sure. It could pull back a little higher here, so I want to be careful here. Is what I'm trying to say. So, I could pull back to test this area here. In which case, I need to be a little careful if it does. But okay, so let's see. All right, I'm going short. It's leaving me behind. Let me close these out here. I'm going to aim for lower areas, possibly down here around 834. So let's see. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take out here at 40 because that is a nice pivot area that I like to focus on a lot of times. And stop wise, whoops, placing a stop primarily up above this area right here. And I know it can pull back a little further. It tests this area maybe by a few points above it. I'll talk about that in my videos, but I'm going to aim for this area down here around 40. So hopefully this trade works out here. Come on, baby, go down to the downside. And I'm aiming for that lower area for the fill the gaps in off of the, there we go, just got filled there, see? And I just talked about what took place there. So we move back over to the 60 range, okay? I mentioned this was a supply zone resting right here, all right? And the market did break above it. It took it out, but you got to understand also that what it did was this was a liquidity grab where it took out an area of supply. So it went above that area, grabbed liquidity to run it back down. It's probably going to come down here and test around this 834 area more than likely. So I was paying close attention as it ran above this area. So I marked that zone right here. The area of liquidity that it took out was right here above 872. The market's already bullish because, again, I'm looking at a higher base chart to focus on to provide me the bias or as far as the direction of the sentiment of the market. And we're bearish as of right now, kind of moving sideways though, but we are breaking structure to the downside. And I noticed that, okay, the market, you know, and I talked about this in a video I did to the elite members yesterday in that market structure breakdown video. If you are not an elite member, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just saying that there are loads of valuable content that can be found by becoming an elite member for $6.99 a month. I mean, most people spend more than that on price of a cup of coffee a day, and this is just monthly, $6.99. And you get the trade breakdowns. You get the extra added bonus videos that I post over on the, you know, for those who are elite members. And all you got to do is you'll find that link down in the description portion of the video. There's a link right below the Discord link that says become an elite member. Click on that. Make sure to choose the tier because there will be 2 tiers that pop up. One of them will say loyal channel supporter. The other one will say elite channel supporter or elite channel member. Make sure to choose that one that says elite channel member or supporter for $6.99 a month. And you'll gain access to the trade breakdowns and all the additional content or valuable content that I also post as well, those private videos as well as the video playlist. So that's an added extra bonus that people who can gain access to, and it has helped people out tremendously. Those that are part of the community, lots of people have fared well and they have watched the videos on both publicly on the YouTube channel and privately by becoming an elite member. And have lots of them are passing their proper evaluations, and you know, and some of them are trading with their own funds. But you know, I have personally, some of them have contacted me and asked me, hey, you know, what do you recommend, Mike? Should I just you know, if I'm starting to take out withdrawals from the prop firms, you know, and getting funded through them, then start your own personal accounts. What I always say, you know, don't seek longevity in doing that. Take as much as you can to put into a personal account. Now look at this. We come right down here. What did I say? 834. That going to the tick. Okay, so you have to understand what's taking place here. They just grab liquidity. So that was a liquidity grab setup. And again, if you want to become an elite member, I just want to throw this or interject again. Scroll down to the description portion of the video, scroll down, and you'll see a link there that says become an elite member for $6, or it'll say become a elite member. That link is right there. Click on it, or you can click on the join tab or button right in front of you on this video, and the same thing will happen. 2 tiers will pop up. Choose the one, scroll down, it says to the left that says $6.99, become an elite member, and you'll gain access to those videos. I just posted a market structure video yesterday and breaking things down. But you know, if you look at the structure of the market, we are moving to the downside here. All right. And if we're moving to the downside, I talk about we only want to look for opportunities to do what? Short plays on short setups or at an area of supply. Okay. That form. And basically what happened here, if you pay attention, so I moved down from my 120 to look down at my 60 to see if there was any type of supply setup. There was. We broke structure below this area here. At 824, right below this little low right here on the 60 range chart. When I saw that, I said, okay, this is a supply zone right here. So I moved down to my 12 range and I was looking for a setup, but it kept pushing higher and it broke above the area of supply right there. So I wait to see where they're going to close above it or they're going to just kind of wick it out and then break lower. If you see here, this candle to the downside, the body of it closed to the downside. The wick of it, it did run above the supply area, but that's a liquidity grab. They love to do setups like that to stop traders out. They're searching for stops right here. Areas where people started selling right here. Okay, so and that gives them, the institutions, when they run stops like that, they're grabbing liquidity, but it puts them in a better position to where they can take orders to, or fill orders going short, and that's what they did. And look, there is an imbalance. There's an imbalance resting right here. Okay, and there's an imbalance resting right here. They came back and they're going to test this area at 834. I mentioned that, but I went ahead and got out at 40 because 40 and 70 are pivot levels, and I saw that. saw that we had 40 below us, so I went ahead and got out. So if we look at the 12 range chart, I think my trade was around this area here, and the 40 was around this area here. So but I noticed what I was looking for in the 12 range was, I always talk about looking for an area where the market, basically, we're going to break a structure, pull back to a small area of supply, and then take the trade. Okay. So when it wicked that area, as we saw, all right, this is that high that it made right here at 878, 17,878 right here, or 17,879. I'm sorry, guys. And this stuff is kind of tough when you're trying to explain and trade and do all this stuff at the same time. It's like a lot of moving intricate things, because I'm trading and I'm trying to make funds or money at the same time while I'm trying to provide this video content for you guys. But anyways, the market does reject this area here. It grabs that area of liquidity. So I'm looking for a setup. Look what it does. It comes down, breaks below structure here at 855. All right. So I said, okay, it broke below that area there. Small little area. Okay, if it pulled back right here and we get the rejection, then I would go short. But I want to be mindful too, because right here was a supply area where they could have tested here. So when it pulled back there and I saw that, okay, it broke below, okay, meaning it rejected. We got the candle closed there and the next candle closed there pretty much. But I'm always looking for a break and close of a candle. So primarily to give me that ultimate definition that the market is definitively trying to break lower. So if you wait on the breaking and close back at a key area of supply that was formed on the lower time frame, the 60 range chart, so we broke structure below 855, pull us back, we get the break and close, go short. Bearish sentiment, or not sentiment, but bearish move to the downside as we continue moving lower. And I mentioned 834, and it comes right down to that area and pushes lower than that. Is the potential that we can push lower? Yeah, definitely so. I mean, we may come down here and break this low here at 789 or 790 right here. So then the market's breaking structure again if we do that. So then, even on the 60 range chart, you can notice that we are where's the channel at? We're even on a channel to the downside here on the 60 range. So you can see it on the 120, you can see it on the 60. And the 12 is going to be a little difficult because you got to really squeeze it in, but you can still see it. Now let's see something. Let's see, what high is this right here? 895. Well, that's going to be that high, probably. Oh, right here. Okay, so yeah, you can see it from around about 10 o'clock this morning. The 12 range, of course, is a lower base chart, so you're not going to be able to see it as broad as the 60 and the 120. So. And as you can see, this thing is slamming. It's still trying to push to the downside. Will it come down and break this low? I'm not 100% sure. I mean, we have a round number here at 17,800. So be careful there, because the market likes to pause, reject, possibly bounce, and react, and maybe even push back to the upside. Could push to the upside at round numbers. Okay, those are strong levels just as well. I wanted to kind of record this video and to show you, a trade setup that I've taken so far in this trading session, because trying to make video content and be a content creator and provide educational stuff to people. I mean, people are going to be people. Traders are going to be traders. I mean, you can't please everybody. I've learned that a long time ago. Everybody has their own personalities, and you can't please everybody. And not everybody is not going to trade the same way or the same style. Trying to teach an old dog new tricks is probably one of the toughest things when it comes to not just trading, but most things in life. As we get older, we tend to kind of get stuck in our ways, and we have a hard time opening up our minds to be able to see something, because you just can't let go of the old bad habits sometimes. And I did that because a long time ago when I first started, because I told myself, and I was a lot younger, if I don't go back to the drawing board and try to look at this thing from a different angle, I'm not going to be successful. So that's when I figured out my problem and my issue was market structure, not understanding, being able to really read the market and see in the structural breaks and understanding that at any given point, the market can change direction. There could be a shift or change in trend. So you got to be able to see those tidal changes in the market. But trying to please everybody in reference to everybody has a question about something. Look, if you spent the time, most people I'm talking to, most people who, not everybody, but a lot of people, if you spent the time watching the videos, I assure you 99% of your questions or the answers to your questions will be found in the video. I know someone had posted a comment about, a lot of people leave positive comments, about, hey, can you, show a video or some recordings to where you are, prior to taking a trade, could you show the full-on trade, meaning as you are getting into the trade right at the beginning? There are already tons of videos on the channel like that. There's some that where I'm not able to click on the record button fast enough and I'm already into a trade. Because there's a lot of things that go on. The market's moving so quick. I'm trying to provide content. I hit the record button. I may be already in a trade, but there are already videos to where I'm not even in the trade that are on the channel. And I'm giving a pre-analysis breakdown or a breakdown of my mindset of what I'm thinking about and looking at the market, opportunities to trade, and then I get into a trade, so I'm recording the full-on thing, every part of it. But so people need to really spend some time watching the video content. If you are a content creator, then you have no idea, not to say how hard it is, but it's slightly difficult in a sense because you're trying to think your way, trying to find entries, you're trying to provide content, and to the best of my ability, trying to show things as detailed as possible and explain them as in detail as possible. So it's a lot of things that go on in the mind and visually speaking when you're trying to explain, and then at the same time you're trying to make a living as well. I don't have to do this. I I only choose to do this because I believe wholeheartedly that if you know something and you have experience in doing something, why not share it amongst other individuals that maybe just have in dire need to understand what it is that you see, and explain to them. It could be any particular topic that they're struggling with. So spend some time watching the videos. Stop doing a hit or miss on videos and get a pen and pad. And people just, I don't know, it kills me. They act as if they don't have the time to do certain things. You've got to make time. If you want to be successful, I don't care what time of the night it is, what time of the day it is. If you go to bed at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or whatever time, and there's been plenty of times I stayed up 2 or 3, 4 o'clock in the morning watching videos or researching and reading books, and you've got to find time, whatever it is that you're passionate about in life, to become successful. If you think this is going to happen for you overnight and someone's just going to stick their hand out and give it to you, that ain't going to happen. You got to put in the work. All right. So believe what I'm saying. If you don't, then you need to find a different avenue. But anyways, we have broke structure. Like I said, did I say we are going to probably continue pushing to the downside? We just did. We pushed lower, breaking structure. All right. So we're breaking structure back down to the downside now. What could happen? We've got an area of supply resting up here. So be careful as well. We've got, let's see here. And, right here as well, there is an area of, supply right there. So the market could break back, grab, maybe liquidity here, and it could push higher, maybe test up here. So, but these are fresh zones right here, or areas where supply is resting at. Again, this is an area or a range, where the market made a low, pullback, broke structure, but in between we have internal structure, back to the upside and to the downside. Okay, so the market can come back and test this area or this area here. So just be careful. Now, let's see. Now, you see what's going on right now is that the market is tapping into this 120 range demand zone right here. Okay, breaking structure to the downside. We got demand resting right here. It could dig deeper. We have these areas inside this little swing right here where there's some imbalances resting right there. But anyways, the market can reject this area of demand right here. That it's a big area of demand now. You got to think about it. It's a 120 range chart. And if we look at the 60 range, you kind of try to narrow it down. This would be that area right there. The market could bounce right here at 17,752. That's around a half number there. Okay, 750. Or yeah, so I would be thinking around about this area here at 750. So you could put an area, a line right here as well. So because this will be confluence, higher base 120 zone, you know, right there where the red line is. And then the 60 range would be right here in this area here around 750, which the market could you know, see some reaction at. So that gives us confluence with two time frame or two charts, okay, off these range charts here. So, you know, we can see what happens. But again, this is a higher base 120 range. If I said supply, I'm sorry, demand zones right here. So if it bounced there, you may say, well, what could happen? Where could it go from there? Well, take a look. All right, so if we do kind of react to this area, be careful because the market could maybe test around this area here at 790. All right, and maybe stall out or reject there because that is an area of resistance above. But I just want us to provide some information as far as what I'm looking at and how I see it. You may see it differently, and that's fine. And that's the beauty about trading. You know, whatever works for you, then stick with it. You know, what I dislike and find distasteful is when people try to, I guess, you know, they have their own way of trading. And if you do, then why are you part of the channel? You know, stick with what works for you. I always say that. I don't ever go out here and try to discredit or, you know, bash someone else because we don't see things eye to eye. And your way may be different than mine and it may work for you, and that's fine. But that's the beauty about life is, in general, whatever it is that you find success in and how you found that success and it's working for you, then just stick with it and be consistent with it. And you know, I take my hat off to you. And I don't have no negative feeling towards anyone when it comes to someone else trying to show me something. A lot of times is that I don't like to confuse myself, so I may not really. I'll look at it, but then at the same time, it's like I don't dwell into it because the fact is, it's like I know it works for me, and I don't want to kind of clutter my own mindset of the way of thinking. And I'll say, oh, okay, I understand what you're looking at, but you know, I'm not really going to try to take it on because the fact is that it's just not my area. It's not. I'm not interested in it. I know what works for me, and I'm going to stick what works for me. That's what I always tell people. What works for you, stick with that. All right. Stick with it. If you're profitable and you're consistent in doing it, stick with it. I'm not trying to confuse anybody else by showing them something else that they didn't want to see, okay? Or they're not questioning about, or you know, I have questions. But anyways, I know I'm rambling here. But anyways, let's take a look and see what's going on now. The market is rejecting that. See what I said? This is a higher base 120 zone, demand zone. Did we tap down into that? Look at that. See there? So this is a demand zone off of. I'm talking and probably miss a setup here, but this is a demand zone. All right, off the 60, that was a demand zone off the 120. So I'm going to mark that as well. Okay. All right. So you know, if we look at the 120 range chart, just for example, you know, this was a demand zone, of course, right? But we have to be careful as well because we are bearish to the downside. So it did reject it if you look over the 60 range, but it was a, you know, you may be able to get into a scalp off this trade here if you scale it down to your 12 range and look for a setup, but you got to be careful and be mindful that there are areas of resistance here and here that the market could pause at, reject it, bounce at, and it did just that. So we haven't clearly broke through this. Well, hold on a minute. Have we? Yeah, we actually did. We broke through this demand zone on the 60 range, not fully on the on the 120 range, but we're bearish. So, you know, if you look at the 120, because we're bearish, I said this in the video that I did covering market structure. If the higher base chart is showing you that we're bearish, then trade in that direction. I know I mentioned about counter trend trading, but look, you have to have experience and know what's going on to take trades like that. So if the market is bearish, then why go long? All right, overall, trading in the direction of the overall sentiment of the market. Those counter trend trades are going to be possibly more short-lived, very much so, and you got to be able to scalp them real quick and know how to. So right now we are moving to the downside, and even on the 60 range, you can see we're breaking structure to the downside. I mean, we're in a channel to the downside, low, lower, high, low, lower, high, low. Okay, so I mentioned, you know, some areas of where it could possibly come back and test that, like here and here. These are supply zones back at the tops up there. And so we'll just continue, just kind of looking at the market and kind of feeling, my way through the market, try to decide or to depend, try to determine what it's going to do here throughout the day. All right, so as we can see, the market's pushing lower. I mean, that higher time frame zone there, which it was a demand zone, but again, I'm using the 120 to really give me a direction of the market, and because we're breaking structure to the downside, you look for short opportunities. And look at the higher base, the 120. Even on the 60 range, you can see we're breaking structure to the downside. But I mean, yeah, there was a rejection here. Possibly go back and take a quick scalp going long, but we have resistance right here. So looking at now how things are unfolding here to the downside. Yeah, there's an area of supply resting right here on the 60 range chart to possibly take an entry from. And let me look here to the left hand side of the chart to see as well. But yeah, I'm really liking this area back up here at 755, 756 area. And it looks like it may be getting ready to break structure again back to the downside right below here at 667. So, be careful there. Be mindful. If we break structure lower, well, you've got this area of supply here. You got some areas above here where the market could actually test. So this will be a impulse leg to the downside where we have a push to the downside, breaking structure, and then this could be some areas of supply resting back to where we could look for the market to pull back to. We are bearish. Been mentioning it all morning. Okay, so my bias and looking for opportunities would be to go definitely go short. But that's all I have for you today, guys. I just want to go ahead and wrap the video up, share something with you today. Hopefully you found some insight, especially in the trade I took and the information that I shared within the video today. So I appreciate everyone tuning in. If you're a first-time subscriber, I would highly recommend, go ahead and sub to the channel. Browse through some of the videos, watch the video content, get a pen and pad, take notes. Again, if you're interested in becoming an elite member for $6.99 a month, I mean, we're talking about a very nominal fee. You get that access to the additional video content like the breakdowns. I just posted a market structure video yesterday, which was very helpful, I'm sure, to a lot of individuals, and probably, gave a lot of added value to a lot of traders as well. So, but also you get the video playlist, and that's a list of videos to where I've hand selected off of the YouTube platform, off of all the videos I've created that pretty much narrow things down to where you don't have to watch all 800 videos. It kind of breaks things down, providing you loads of information or valuable information, as well as hot topics or key topics about trading that I feel like traders should know. So if you're interested, find that link to become a member down in the description portion of the video, or click on that join button right in front of you. All right, that's all I have for you today. If you're a current subscriber, go ahead and become a sub by clicking on the subscribe button. Make sure to turn on all your post notifications so you don't miss one of the uploads here on the channel. And last but not least, if you found value in today's video, please drop a like on it. Take care. See everyone in the next one.